Cool. How long have you been in this profession, and what inspired you to go into this field? Was this your first and only career choice?
No, it wasn't. Prior to becoming a cop, I was a body man, so I worked on cars for 14 years. Both my parents were retired from the KCK Police Department, and when I moved to Toledo, Ohio, for a short time, close that door, bud.
Post production.
So when I moved to Toledo, I just saw the police department was hiring, so I hired on there, and then for there, this is kind of where my law enforcement career flourished.
Wow. Bonner.
Yeah, so almost 20 years. So.
Question 2. What was your path/journey to get to this field? Did you have to do an internship to get here?
When I first came on the police departments, the job was very competitive, so there wasn't really opportunity for internships. It was more about your career path of what you were doing in school. I knew for me, because the career path was so competitive at the time, I needed to get my education, because all the people I was going up against in the application processes, they were all had their education. One thing I found out when I got into the college portion of my career path was college came easy to me, unlike high school. So when I got into college, it was coming easy, so I just continued all the way to my master's degree, and I almost got to the point where I got a lot of my doctorate stuff done too. So if I ever want to go back and finish my doctorate, I'm not too far off from that.
Isn't that like the final one?
Yeah. So yeah. So.
Wow. Actually, I have a question myself. What year did you join?
So I joined the police department back in 2006. That's when I started my law enforcement career. Prior to that, I worked at Westport Security, which was a lot of fun. It was more fun than working at a police department, because the action base of it was this action every night.
Really?
So yeah, you worked fights and calls, and I seen a lot of stuff just in one for a small security department. But you're working in an entertainment district. I saw a lot of stuff that most senior cops don't see for years until working the streets. So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
I want to do that instead, to be honest.
It will definitely give you an eye opening if the career is for you or not, because it's you're working the crazy hours, you're working the long hours, you're working with crazy people, you're working with people that are intoxicated, so they're not really in their right mind. So it kind of gives you an opportunity to work on your PR skills and talk to people down, try talking them down, and so it was a good time, especially being a young cop at the time. So it was a lot of fun.
Keep that in mind. Question 3. What was the entry-level job like for this career?
I'd say the entry level portion is a lot of cops, or a lot of people want to get into this career. They immediately want to jump into the forensic science portion of it, or they want to jump into the FBI portion of it. The ground level portion of being a police officer is just your basic road patrol officer, and I encourage everybody to start from that position up. For the simple fact is, you need to see what you want. Is this for you? Is this the job for you? But the problem is, where departments are running into now, getting officers trained is a very expensive endeavor, and for officers to come out and try it for a week or two, like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
So going to the police academy is the easy portion of it, because, well, I would say easy, but it's a it's training, so it's not real life situations. I mean, they can try to model that situation as much as they can, but it's still not working with the public. When you get out working with the public, it's a different animal.
Yeah. Question 4. What kind of education and or training did you complete for this career? What classes/experiences in high school helped prepare you for this career the most?
Well, my high school career, I can't really echo on that. I was a typical kid in high school. I just played sports and did high school stuff. I don't know. I won't elaborate on what all that was, but that was me in high school. I really had no interest in being a cop in high school. Both my parents were cops, so I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I had a lot of career opportunities that I look back on. My grandpa was a big guy, like a head foreman down at the railroad for Brother North Santa Fe. He wanted me to go into engineering and drive trains, And now I look back on that, when you're thinking cost of living and inflation, everything going up, that would have been a better career choice
Really?
because the pay is significantly better. But I had my head set on being a cop, and so that's the career I went into. As for me, my education, I look back at my education journey. I wished I would have jumbled up my education a little bit, maybe got my bachelor's degree in something else, and then maybe got my master's degree in criminology. But I got it all in one, I went to KCK Community College, got my police science there, and then I got my bachelor's degree from Park University in Parkville, and then I got my master's from Regis University, which is a sister school of Park. So I did all my stuff in the criminal field. But I wish I would look back and took my grandpa's advice and kind of spread the love a little bit. So.
Well, you still almost got your doctorate. That's so amazing.
Yeah, I'm real close to that. So I just for how much money I've gotten invested already in student loans for what I have on the wall already, to go get my doctorate, I don't really have any need for it. It would just be a milestone in my life, but not really a
flex.
Yeah, it would help anywhere. So.
Question 5. What is the most unique and memorable experience that you've had in this field?
Oh, wow. There are so many that I can look back on. I think one of the biggest things is I could say from this career standpoint is the good I've seen has been great, but the bad I've seen has been a mountain. You get soldiers that go to war and they never see battle, but they got PTSD. But you got cops that could write a storybook on the stuff they've seen just here in the States. I mean, just just to give you a count of the suicide rates, the crashes, where I won't even elaborate on all of it, but what I've seen. I could write you a book of what I've seen. And I just move on with it, and like every other cop in the country, they just move on with it. They just put it away and move on with it. Yes, is it a different battlefield? Yes, it's not over across seas or in a foreign country, but it's pretty killed. The crimes you see, the heinous crimes you see. Becoming the SRO at the school, I do both. I work investigations, and I work the road, and I work the school, and all the crimes that I work on just here at the school alone. I take a lot of sex crimes that happen to children, and me as a father of 5, you just put that away. You don't like working these cases or hearing the stories, but somebody has to be there to help these people. So
those would be the worst ones for me too.
Yeah, they're terrible. So
question 6. What are some skills that you had to develop to go into this field, and how are those skills utilized in this profession?
Man, in law enforcement, public speaking is one. Your English, reading, writing, arithmetic, that is the biggest one. Writing is a big thing in law enforcement. Reports, yes. It's funny when people watch TV. TV fantasizes law enforcement, which the real fact is you're actually sitting here. You spend hours doing reports. The what I call the super cop, TV cop stuff of it only lasts about a minute or 2 or 3, and then it's all taking photos and writing reports and documenting stuff. That when you get into this field, that's where you see that takes away oh man, this isn't what I thought it was, because TV only shows exciting. Even cops only shows the exciting part of it. They miss the part where they're sitting there typing hours on end doing reports.
And that's like the real life show, right?
Yeah. So they just completely miss that portion of it. So that's why I'd say would to that question would be the best answer.
Yeah. Question 7. What are the advantages and disadvantages of your career?
I think the advantages of my career is, especially right now as the SRO, I get to do what I wanted. I always wanted to teach, so I get to teach classes. I get to sub for classes. I get to help the kids. The disadvantage to it is especially for the road patrol guys. I spent the last 20 years of my life missing my kids' birthdays, missing holidays. I remember taking my breaks, asking if I can leave the city for a short time and go home so I can just, see my kids when I get up on Christmas morning. So I would say that the disadvantage of this whole career is the stuff you miss personal wise. So.
Question 8. What is the job market / outlook for this career in today's society?
If you want to be a police officer, unlike when I first started getting into the field, with the market of it was so flooded with people wanting to be police officers. Now that's no longer that way, and I think a lot of it's due to society, the bad name law enforcement's gotten. I think that's probably the issue with this career. And this career is what you make of it. Not every cop is a bad cop just because we wear the uniform. So I think that's probably one of the biggest hurdles that law enforcement's struggling with, because
there's too many cops for there all of them to be bad.
Absolutely. I mean, to put it in perspective is, let's take a big company, right? Somewhere in a big company, there's going to be a bad apple.
Yeah.
There might be more than one, and that's the same thing in law enforcement. Law enforcement is so vast. There's so many of us. I mean, you can only, somewhere along the line or somewhere down the road, you're going to get 5, 6, hundreds of bad cops. That's just the evil part of it. It's not like you have your own little small company and you can be picky and choosy who you hire, right? So unfortunately, law enforcement's the same way. You get lazy people in some places. I mean, it's a bad situation.
Especially when you need people.
Yeah, it really is. So, and the people you do have that love the job, they're being worked to death because there's nobody wants to do this job.
Yeah. That kind of just comes up kind of like my last question too, but we're not gonna talk about that anymore. Question 9. What advice do you have for an individual like me who would like to pursue this career?
I think you're on the right path. I would say keep exploring it, see if it's something you want to do. Several departments now offer what they call intern positions. And a lot of those intern positions, they are just, a couple months, maybe a year and a half. Some of them are part-time positions, Yeah, and they actually pay you. I know KCK, they're actually going to come up and do an intern position where they hire, and it's $15 an hour, and it's just for the summer.
Like this year?
Yeah, so they'll be up here, I think, on the 6th. The 6th and 7th of April. And they're going to,
6 and 7. I think I work.
But I do have a card for you if you want to contact them.
I might have to take that actually. Question 10 then. My question. What do you think of the public outlook of your career in recent years?
I think the public outlook on our career is it's become tainted. I think a few bad officers have given us a bad perspective, and not officers are all like that.
Yeah.
Just because we're out there to do the job. When I tell people, when you look at this job, take some other countries versus our country, you have to have law and order, because if you don't have some kind of law and order, you have anarchy, which we are now seeing in some of those other bigger cities that went to their defund stage. Now their crime is through the roof, and they're struggling to get it back down. They're trying to recruit cops, and nobody wants to go there to work. So, unfortunately, the ugly portion of it is that even though this is a free country, you still have to have law and order, because if you don't, it just, you can't live free in your house. You can't be safe in your house. So,
what cities did that? I forgot. I think I heard.
I know Chicago jumped on that bandwagon. New York jumped on that bandwagon. A lot of your bigger cities, yeah. I know Georgia jumped on that bandwagon, and the problem is now their crime is just through the roof. California, Google it. It's really bad. They're just,
that is stupid. California of all places.
Yeah. And the problem is California is they strive on their tourist attraction, warm weather, sun, beachfront stuff. Well, if people don't feel safe going down there, then and here for example, you got Florida, which they didn't jump on the defund thing, you know, and their crime is not to the roof. So now Florida is brain draining California's tourist attractions because people feel safer going to Florida than in California because the crime is bad. You know, I know people love to go to Chicago and stuff like that. For example, take Chicago, New Year's Eve. Normally they have a big bash on New Year's Eve and people just wasn't going because they're scared to go to a hotel or stay at a hotel or just do anything because
It's that bad.
yeah, crime's bad. So
Well, that was my final question.
yeah, well, that was fun.
Deuces.